Hey, what's up out there, everybody? David Cravens with the Relentless Hope Podcast, back again here in sunny Southwest Florida at the 239 Uncensored Studios. I've got my beautiful, savage wife.
I feel like I'm supposed to come out like Hogan.
Jahnna Cravens. I like to say your name for
What's up, everybody? Yeah, he thinks I forget it, but trust me, I know my name.
How you doing today over there, beautiful?
Fantastic. How about you,
I'm doing
Mr. Cravens?
I'm doing all right.
You
Doing all
good?
right. Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, hopped up.
Yeah, I'm getting a little hopped up. I hit the gym early this morning, as you know, you were with me. Slammed the clean calls on the way.
Was.
Yes, you were there. I seen your triceps from a couple machines over.
Getting that.
I was like, this girl's swole up. We got our homegirl D Money over there on the controls. You know, she don't stay too far from us over there doing what she does. We always appreciate her and give her the love that she deserves, as everybody that does their podcast at 239 Uncensored better be doing.
Yeah, because where would we be without D Money?
That's right. And Tim Jarrett. That's right. That's why we're here.
Timmy.
So we've got our homeboy. You guys might have noticed on one of the podcasts we did. Bob's in the background.
Bob.
Look at that guy's jawline.
Look at Bob.
That's a sexy dude right there. He got some Nevens on.
He's a beast.
Because you know that's the only eyewear we wear. So Bob's rocking Nevens right there. And
looking good,
you know,
Bob.
these bad boys are fire, and a couple over there. But he's got the official Why Bob shirt on. That if you need a Why Bob shirt, you let us know. We will send it to you.
Flyfit.
Flyfit, baby. Flyfit tees. Get you looking good no matter what the body shape is. And they make you feel fly. I mean, I feel so fly. Sometimes they break me out. They break me out. They break me out sweats.
That's just because you run around like a crazy person.
Yes, I do when we get here. Diana was already on the...
She was on it.
She was on it today, and we got here and rolled in and showed up, and Bob was here.
Bob's a little heavy.
Yeah, Bob was chasing me when I drove off today. He was rolling down the block like, take me with you. I want to be there. So Bob is
there he is.
Part of the Relentless Hope Podcast.
Yeah.
Really?
We don't go far without Bob.
Nah, Bob's been with us for a long time, since our first Christmas.
First Christmas together.
Our first Christmas, Jahnna bought Bob for me to try to relieve some stress, because I was dealing with a few anger issues. For you folks out there that don't believe it, few anger. And then I really used to work out on Bob. Then I broke 3 bolts in the back of him.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a good right cross. And
it was a combination.
Yeah, I was out there beating the heck out of him. But he's been in every home. He's traveled with us. Bob's been part of the family. I have people that I see and they ask about Bob. Like old neighbors. They're like,
oh, yeah.
Remember Bob?
Remember that guy I would always wave to?
Yeah, remember your guy? Like for a long time, people thought Bob was me standing on the porch. And because he stood on at our old house downtown.
Bob needs a shotgun.
Yeah, Bob.
So where's he going to hold it?
But why Bob? Right, D-Money? Why Bob? That's all we ask. So here we are today again to do another one. I want to thank everybody who's been liking, subscribing, sharing. It's humbling, right, babe?
It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
you know, because you're always like, does anybody really watch this? Are we really getting to anybody? You know,
and it's crazy now to see that, like, when we were doing the music thing, which we still do, which we've got new music videos out. We just released a new song called Time Machine.
Ooh,
probably one of the realest songs I've ever wrote that touches on my past and childhood trauma and different things. Go check it out. It's on Spotify, YouTube Music, iTunes, all that stuff. Videos coming soon. We got another video coming for stuff. So music stuff's going to be popping off. We just been putting so much time in the podcast and real life, work, kids, marriage. Marriage is supposed to be first place. People out there.
Oh no.
But now seeing and paying attention to organic growth is like, you got the core people that are waiting on the podcast. You got the core people that you know you're going to turn X amount of numbers of people that are tuning in.
Yeah, because if we don't release it right away, they're like, "What?
Where you? Where's
your
it at?"
Where's the podcast?
And you know that it's not just subscribers on there. It's like real
some little
fans.
Bot.
Yeah, real. Yeah, it ain't bots. It's real organic stuff, right? So we're beyond humbled. Thank you for every person that supports us. We can't ever say that enough, because we're just. We're not on here because we're better than anybody, because if we can do it, anybody can do it.
Just two misfits.
Two misfits, broken people. That's right. who decided to put our marriage first. And anytime marriage goes first God's way, it works 100% of the time.
All the time.
But we also receive messages. We receive some messages people are asking. And if we don't get back to you right away, a lot of times Jackson's a laggy because he's probably playing the guitar upstairs or wearing his new cowboy boots.
Or he's on the computer.
Or he's on the computer or he's doing whatever.
Talking to Kevin.
Talking to his buddy Kevin, which we love Kevo. But sometimes people send messages. People's ask, can we help with their marriage? Do we counsel? What worked for us? How did you get past this? Like, we get all these questions now, which to me, this guy was the worst husband. I broke every marital law there was. Marital law there was out of the 4 laws, the principles of marriage, Jimmy Evans' book, if you haven't got it.
Which are?
Priority, purity, pursuit, and partnership.
There it
is the 4 laws. The 4 laws by Jimmy Evans, A Marriage to Today. Check it out. But I had broke every one of those laws, right? And
both of us did.
So going back to where they, ask us this question and they say, do you guys do this and this? A question that I get a lot, and John and I's story is open. If you've watched any of these podcasts, we both did things in our marriage while we were split up that we weren't proud of. We both made mistakes with other people and did things. The number one thing I get from guys a lot of times is go, man, I don't know if I can get over that if a girl does that to me. And most of the time, guys are more prone to not forgive when a girl does something than a woman is. A lot of times women will accept the guy back a lot quicker and do whatever. And a guy's like, nah, because it's right. It's a blow to their ego when there's another guy. Which brings me, so this past week, why we're talking about this topic, one thing that I had to learn and practice that I wasn't very, very good at was empathy. Empathy is I'm going to put myself in how they feel right now. How did they feel from this?
Trade places.
Yeah, trade places. And that was a big thing for us to get past stuff was empathy. And you had said when we were talking about this, because anytime you talk about stuff, the wound may be healed, but then you start thinking of stuff, and then the devil tries to play with your mind, and then you start getting, you did do this.
Sees a little open door. He wants to kick it open.
And you said something that you told me when we were riding down here talking. What was it that you told me where you said how you got over it when you would start to...
My number one thing, David, was anytime I would feel hurt or like something familiar was brought back up, that it brought pain to me, I would check myself real quick and be like, wait a minute, Jahnna, are you innocent in this, or did you do something that you weren't supposed to do? So therefore, I really have no right to be mad at you.
Right.
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 I have to forgive you just like you had to forgive me.
Empathy.
So, empathy.
Yeah. You would say, well, hold on. And something I did learn too, and this is a lot that, Pastor Gasper and Michelle, who is going to be guests on here, we can't wait, who put a lot in our marriage, especially early on when we were going to get divorced and all the craziness. And Jimmy Evans, counseling and just learning, is no matter, and this is what we learned in counseling, no matter what I done, even if I think I was right, I failed some way.
There was somewhere.
Maybe the way I handled it, maybe the attitude, maybe the judgmental, whatever the case may be.
Right.
That's where empathy comes in. And going back to how we started to get on this subject. So we got invited to something that we're going to be going to. And so then a picture was sent to me what to wear. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, what are we going to wear to this? Because, we like to show up, man. That's Relentless Hope and David and Jahnna, and that's what we do. You know what I mean? If we're coming to the event, buddy, we're coming.
We're coming.
And I got a picture sent. Well, there was a guy in the picture that, when things wasn't real good and things happened, Jahnna knew and different things. And I said, yeah, I'm not real crazy about the guy in the front right there. And what it did was kick these feelings back up into me, is where I started giving Jahnna. I was like, well, yeah, I started saying a lot of snarky, sarcastic stuff, which, my mom's always said I was blessed with sarcasm, and it wasn't really a blessing. But I started saying, oh, I can't wait to do this. Maybe you can do this and this. And I started saying all these mean things. But what I did was I called it very quick, though.
Yeah.
Because I started to feel a certain way.
Get your feelings.
Yeah, I got in my feelings, and it as a man, it thought, oh, I can't wait to walk in here and this dude's in here.
Right.
Even though I know he won't look as cool as I am. But walk in there, it brought up a lot of those feelings, you know? So if you want to know if you've forgiven somebody or you can move on, it's what you do with those feelings when they come up, because
feelings and thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts are crucial too. You know,
well, that's your emotions.
Absolutely. That is emotions.
Yeah.
And emotions are a choice.
And you can't control. I can't tell you how my emotions are going to react, but I can tell you how my will's going to act.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which that means that goes back to even being when you wake up in the morning. You know, we were listening to a thing. It's like you don't wake up and go, oh, there it is again. Another day. Look at this right here. Now you wake up and I'm scratching my butt and I'm farting and she's breath smelling, you know, and all hair looking
real
crazy.
Life.
You're like real life. And you have to say, okay, I'm not married by my emotions, how I feel at this time.
I choose to love you.
It's a will. I choose to love you regardless. And when you practice that, it just becomes a habit. And then you start to love the little things like that. It's what makes quirks. You love them, you know, the little quirks. Not that she likes me farting to scratch my butt, you know what I'm saying? But
part of the package.
It's part of the package. That's that craving stomach. That cornbread and beans my whole life, baby.
No, it's the little green pills that you seem to like to take a lot of.
Hey, buddy, I like a colon cleanse every once in a while. No, but anyway.
Every day I'm hustling.
Let me get a drink of this Clean Cause, which every can lends a hand. You guys know this is healthy organic energy. I had to get off. I'm drinking a green can. You know what I'm saying?
You want to know why he's so jacked up? That's right here.
But so going back to the guy came up, and then my boy was like, "Oh man, I didn't even think about that, dude." Yada yada, and then Jahnna was like, "Of course, automatically, just being honest, goes into a defense." Well, what about? Yes. I had to go here, and I'm like, well, you're comparing two different, and then we start going, but
not really, because a hurt is a hurt.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
was
that's
my
right.
point. My point was, but I don't look at that anymore,
right?
Because the past is the past.
Past is the past,
right? I've been forgiven. You've been forgiven.
We've been forgiven, but what I was saying was, if it was reversed and we had to go where somebody was, how would you feel? And you were like, well, I don't think. Which I will say this, and my wife. And this is how you know Jesus is real. And this is how you know if you put your marriage first, things can change. Because it's crazy in marriage, rookies, you know, like the honeymoon phase. You always hear the honeymoon phase, that's the amazing time. And then when somebody comes up to you and like people go, how long you guys been married? And I tell them, they're like, oh, honeymoon's over, boy. I bet you guys. And
but we didn't really ever, just to be 100% real, we never had a honeymoon
phase.
It was straight up blended family.
Yeah,
kids,
well, that was the part that
straight
we
out
did.
Of treatment.
That was the part we didn't do it God's way. We jumped in before we went to some counseling and did stuff. And that's for people out there that's maybe came to know Jesus or got clean or got healthy. I'm telling you right now, we were like, I know I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. Why would we not just get married and do this? And everybody was like, well, hold on.
Push the cart before the horse.
You know, and really out of everybody, only one person that I really know that I can say, and I got to give props to, is Jason Justice.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Jason Justice, and I still love that dude to this day, and we still keep in contact. And he said, hey, man, if it's God's will and you love her, who cares what everybody else says? You guys got to do the work and do it. And I remember him telling, he believed in us all through the years. You know what I'm saying? So I love you, Jason Justice.
Shout out to Jason.
Shout out to Jason. But, you know, with all that coming in, what I can say is over the years, these hurts that happened, the decisions we made while we were apart and, you know, all the craziness and other people involved and, you know, trying to get attention, trying to blanket hurts, whatever the reason was. You know what I mean? I don't spend a lot of time trying to justify why I did, because I could give you 30 reasons why I did it. You can give me 30 reasons. The act happened. It wasn't right.
I think too, David, part of growth is not justifying anymore. You know, for me, when I stopped justifying, well, he did this, so I did this.
Right.
Okay, none of that matters, because what matters is how I handled it. I'm responsible for my actions, right? And I handled it incorrectly.
Yeah.
So no matter what, when I check myself and realize I'm responsible for that, I'm responsible for the hurt that I caused you. Doesn't matter what you did to me, right? That's
right.
So
that's empathy. That's taking responsibility.
Taking responsibility.
And no, you know, relationship could grow if and it goes back to why I started to say this.
Yeah.
It's funny that somebody asked me that, like, how did you get past knowing Jahnna this dude or, whatever. And how did she get past knowing that this girl and, it was empathy, God, but it was really taking accountability.
Exactly.
And I remember coming back and I'll just be transparent. I texted a dude and said, hey, listen, this happened. Don't contact my wife no more. We're back together. And I hold myself responsible for why this happened, because I was the head of the household and I lacked and did it. And I took responsibility of that. And we started to work on stuff. And then still for a long time, we had to take different ways around routes. Town. Because if we drove by certain places, it would be an all-off fight. It would be like it just happened right then. A lot of that was immaturity on ours from past relationships and stuff we hadn't dealt with.
Or I think too, David, I think it's important to realize that for both of us, this was new. This was new for both of us to deal with this and then realize, all right, this is where we failed and this is what we need to do next time. Right. And
people talking too, naysayers, like people saying, oh yeah, you're going to do, you I wouldn't go back with her or him. He's going to do this. He's just like, you guys are crazy. You know what I mean? Like misery loves company. You know what I mean? People wanted to see it. But what happened was, we started to go, hey, listen, if we're going to be together, we got to deal with this, get over it and forgive. Or I remember saying, we might as well just stop right now.
Yeah.
Because I remember us getting back together and we were having a fight one time and we were like, you did this and you were this. And I go, hey, listen, neither one of us had to come back.
That's right.
You were away from me. You could have went on and sailed down the river with Fabio or whoever, and I could have went down the river with Shira or whoever, whatever the person was. I'm making that up. But we were at a place where we did not have to come back together.
Right.
We chose to come back together. Right.
Right.
Because if you think your soulmate is somebody who's perfect and going to be your soulmate is a wackadoodle. Okay. And there's no perfect person in every relationship that's good. Even people that have been married 40 years still have to work at their marriage if they have a healthy, loving, growing marriage.
Yeah. Because soulmates aren't just made. Right. I mean, they're not born.
No.
Soulmates are not born.
No.
You have to make that.
You have to make it happen.
You have to put that effort. You have to put that work in.
That's right.
Right. And when I realized that, okay, there's only David and Jahnna, these other people aren't in my marriage. Yeah, they might put their little inputs in, but why am I even listening to them? Because at the end of the day, it's you, it's me, and God's right there in the middle.
That's right.
So what are we doing with this?
So what we did is, once we got to that, getting back, I know it's getting crazy because this is such a topic but when they asked me how I got Pyatt, I said, well, here's why. Exactly what you said. Anytime I start to get mad about a dude, and my dad said this, and my dad wasn't the best role model when it came to women and marriage and whatever, but I remember him saying this about my mom one time. As I was older, I said, man, you always wonder why things didn't work out. He goes, there ain't nothing she did I didn't ever do 100 times worse. He said, so I just get that out of my head. You know what I mean? I remember him saying that. Well, that's kind of that practice moving into the godly way. When I would start to get mad, I'd say, yeah, but come on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what did you do? And then that made me start going like, hey, let's just do this. And then
humility.
Once we started working that out, then we started driving, but we're like, okay, we start laughing about like how immature was we to have a fight over a name of a restaurant or a fight over a side of a street of town. And we got to that point where we were like, it was some work though. There was time. And the other day, I haven't felt like that for a long time until I seen that and it got sent to me and I was like, oh, it brought up some stuff.
Well, it's like you always say, it's like about, where you dropped a slate and it cut you open. And
I didn't drop it, by the way. Somebody else
you didn't
dropped
drop it. Somebody else dropped it, but it was
Pull
dropped.
Table movie right here, buddy. Extraordinaire. Ask around. They'll tell you.
Hey, little humility there.
Hey, I ain't humility on that because I didn't drop that slate. No, I'm just kidding. I just played it. Go ahead, baby. I got cut.
Right, but back to the topic. But when you hit that, right? If you hit it on the trailer hitch.
Oh, it's like it happened right then.
Right? You feel that all over again. So I think it's important to validate each other's feelings. Hey, I'm sorry that hurt you.
Yeah.
But look where we are now, right? And I think it speaks volumes for us to be able to get past that and to walk in somewhere united and we weren't. Well, it didn't break us.
No, and actually now our marriage is stronger and better than ever. And I was saying this earlier. It's like only in marriage is it where the rookie is the leader. Like if you go watch a basketball thing or a baseball thing, the rookie, it's the veteran that is the captain of the team and he's been there and he's helping the rookie.
Right.
In marriage, it's like the rookies have the best marriage and the veterans have the worst marriage. Like how many people go, oh yeah, well I've been doing, when really that it should be the opposite. Marriage should be getting better every year.
Absolutely.
Right. And we're at the part, if you go marriage, it's like the honeymoon phase is amazing. Then they have kids.
What's
usually.
that?
Yeah. Then they have kids, and then the husband starts working on the career. The wife starts working on the kids, and then stress comes because we're at the age where we've got kids in middle school and high school where it costs more money, more time. Where's the time for each other? And that's why your marriage has to be number one. Right. That's the only way that we can go through this stuff that we go through now, is because our marriage is number one priority.
Well, we had to learn too, because being a blended family, like you always get confused on that topic. I was fresh out of a treatment center, having my kids in my life again, and thinking, all right, because I failed them, I need to put them first. Right. Where instead I'm supposed to put you first,
right?
As my number one human relationship, I'm supposed to put you first.
Yeah.
So that it almost had to have a balance of that, of learning that, because that's not what we did at first, right?
And so, somebody asked me how we get past it, and then I can tell them right now how will I get past it and go in this place is because I've forgiven her 100%. I don't. There was a time in our marriage and growing and getting over this that we would throw this up to each other all day long, a couple times a week. Might go for a while, then something would happen. No matter what the argument was, it would come back to this because the issue's never the issue. And it wasn't healed, to where now, even sexually, man, I was like, oh, and every time I have sex, I got to think of this, man, and did this. And you're set up with that from the very beginning. That's why you save yourself for marriage, because as soon as you have sex the first time and the next time and whatever, it starts breeding comparison when you get married, which is not supposed to be that way. You know what I mean? And so I've forgiven her for that. And if it's like me asking God to forgive me and then not forgiving you, like that's the most hypocritical thing in the world.
Yeah,
if you believe that Jesus is Jesus and that's what we believe. And so how do we get past it? It was a lot of hard work, a lot of empathy and being unselfish, and a lot of taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Because there was ways that I failed as a husband to Jahnna, and that pushed her to go do different things, not making it right. We all make decisions. There's no, just because one person does something or you feel one way don't mean you got the right to go do anything. But we both had made decisions.
Right.
And so I've forgiven her. Now, at one time in my life, and I've said this before, I'd be like, nah, listen, that's cool, but sell on. You did this. And I'm not going to do that. You want to play
God in the situation, which is very human nature. We think that, oh, well, this person we're not going to let this person hurt us or do this to us.
Right.
When in reality, that's part of being broken people.
Yeah. And letting God be God and heal you. Right. And if our story can help somebody else, like being through this and what we do in life and what our whole goal is and what our whole goal for this podcast is, I can sit in a class or in a marriage class or in a meeting or in a group and tell real fast if somebody's forgiven something or if they're holding on to somebody. You can think you're fooling somebody. But I remember one time Pastor Gasper, I said something. He's like, well, you need to forgive her. It's your fault. I was like, what? It's whose fault? He's like, it's your fault. You're the man. And I was like, dude, I was like, we got in trouble. I was like, we ain't going back there. I'm sick of this, man. I get blamed for everything. But what he was saying was, you wasn't doing your part as the leader of the household. Right. And if you was, that would have probably never, ever happened. Right. And there was another time that Pastor Michelle said something that she was like, I didn't realize how much Jahnna looked up to you and followed you until I started talking to her. Because, you're a tough girl, tougher than most girls. And I'll give my wife props right now. We had some couple of weeks now moving pool tables, and I'm not the easiest dude to work for because I expect stuff a certain way.
You're a peach.
I'm a peach. No, I get going and I want it done this way, and let's go. What are we doing? Making trips to the truck doesn't make sense to me. Like, why didn't you bring all the tools first? I don't understand this.
I didn't put the tools away.
But, and she does stuff, and I've said this to her all the time, and I say this to people when we're working. Hey, thank God I have a good-looking, strong wife that if an employee doesn't come to work, I still get to go make money and we go do it together. And most women couldn't move a pool table. I promise you that. I know you think you're tough and you're all that. I'm not trying to say she's cooler or tougher than your wife, but she is. Okay. So,
thank you. For that.
but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We go do that. And I don't know where I was going through with my topic of that because I got on a rant.
Because you were saying it's been a crazy tough
couple
of weeks.
It's been a crazy tough couple weeks. And you know, when that hit me, I realized like I've forgiven her. I love her. There's nothing, you know, I'm the head of the household. And when I get off of my watch, things happen. And I didn't realize how much that I'm the leader.
Right.
Because you're tough, you're strong, but you still, a man is the lead, wife is the make the home. You know what I mean? And a man's number one thing, I want to be respected. Hey, he's the man. David's going to do this.
Right.
And you want to feel like, hey, we're going to be okay, right?
We got this,
Yeah,
right?
we got this, right? Because I know we do. And she'll support me 110% in whatever I do. You know what I mean? We might, you know, have some disagreements, but there's no boss. You know, we got shirts that say, I'm the boss, the real boss. Jesus is the boss of our marriage. And then it's John and I as equal. And
a good marriage is partnership.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. That's one of the laws. You know, partnership.
It's not one person dominates the other person. No. It's realizing that we're partners.
Yeah, we're partners in everything that we do. And our marriage is a little different than a lot of people's. Not a lot of people, you know,
have joint emails,
I mean, there's been times,
accounts,
joint emails, bank accounts, phone numbers, pictures, which drives me crazy sometimes. But all of a sudden I see pictures of all these nails and Temu.
Hey, I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't use Temu.
She goes through,
I use Sheen.
Oh, Sheen. I'm sorry. My
Shout
bad.
out to Sheen.
But, you know, right, but a lot of people don't do it. And that's between you and how you work your stuff. Right. It works good for us.
Yeah.
And now I wouldn't want it any other way, but
security.
Yeah. And now it's just, we're one. Yeah. So it's not even, I don't go, oh, I got to have it doesn't even affect me because I don't care because that's just how we do it. We're one in everything. We're one in music, one in podcasts, one in work, one in money, one in kids, it's just, we're one. You know what I'm saying? And I take it very serious. Like people say, hey, you know, we were talking, there's a good jealous and a bad jealous. God's in the Bible says God is jealous, capital jealous, right? Yes. And that's a healthy jealous.
Yeah, some people don't understand.
A compassionate jealous, not a sick jealousy. Like, you better not be there. I'm going to show up 40 times. I've been that guy too before, behind in the woods. Like, what are you walking in there for?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a jealous of my marriage integrity. Godly jealousy is like anything that threatens my time, my integrity with my wife, my kids. That's I think, you know, you're born with the instinct to get jealousy, godly jealousy. I'll tell you why. When Jackson was born, I didn't get to be in the room because I had to do an emergency C-section. Right. And I remember them bringing him out. And I'm like, hey, what are they doing with him?
Yeah,
whoa, that's my son. What are we doing? That was an automatic jealousy.
There's an automatic protection.
Yeah, protecting because of doing that.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing in a marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so people are like, you know, I was talking to my sister. She was like, you know, talking about going to lunch, you know, work lunch or the other sex. Yeah. I go, we don't do that. John, I'm not going to no lunch date with a man, and I'm not going to lunch date riding in a car with a woman.
Why would you even do that?
Why do you think you're going to cheat? No, but I'm a human. She's a human. Protect it, and we just don't do it. That's one of our non-negotiables.
You're still a man, and I'm still a woman.
And, you know, and that's the way we do it. So back to what we started, and somebody sent us asking us how we get past infidelity and other people. It's empathy and forgiveness and ownership. I mean, really, that's it. Even seeing this picture of this dude, knowing he might be there, that don't mean that's my wife. You see what I'm saying? And you know, don't get me wrong, I'll jap slam. No, I'm just kidding. I'll jack slam. No, I'm just kidding.
Take the gloves off, Mike Tyson.
No, I'm just playing. Off. You know, out of all respect. But now I'm not saying nobody's be coming up to my wife and talking at the table or anything like that. I'll be respectful and a good person. But I mean, it doesn't bother me. Right at the beginning, I kind of did these feelings, and then I just said, and then I didn't say nothing else about it. I was like, I love you. I forgive you. Hey, it was a crazy time. We made some mistakes, and look at where we are. Because if we can do it, anybody can do it.
Absolutely.
Am I wrong?
No, and I think sometimes the enemy uses that. He uses your hurt to keep you stifled. You know what I mean? But we have so much just to be thankful for, you know, from where God's brought us, where we are now, and just showing everybody, hey, this is how you can do this, and giving people hope. That's what we're all about.
And when people say something like, man, you and Jahnna's relationship, like how you guys came back from this and how, you know, the number one thing we hear about our podcast is like, I feel like I'm there with you. Like you guys are real. There's no fake. You can't be fake to be like this. Man.
Authentic.
Yeah. I mean, you know, but it's people that see that is because it's not really giving Jahnna and David the glory. It's giving God the glory. Because without God, we wouldn't have made it. Without God and work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People that have successful marriages have love and they ain't scared of hard work.
That's right.
Right? And you got to be unselfish. So we put in the hard work. And there was some things we wanted to talk about and didn't want to talk about, and things that happened. And you see us wearing these shirts. Mine says, she's my sissy.
He's my bud.
And he's my bud.
Why is that? What's our favorite movie?
Our favorite love story is Urban Cowboy. And let me tell you why. Here's why. Any of my kids, older or younger, or anybody who stayed at my house for any length of time, I'll say, have you ever seen Urban Cowboy? And if they say no, they have to watch it. And
not American.
You're not American if you ain't seen Urban Cowboy. Diana, have you seen Urban Cowboy?
Oh, shoot.
I will send a book report home for you and Eduardo, Eddie Money, to watch this love story. Urban Cowboy. Okay, but here's why we say that. For one joke, the inside joke, if you've never seen Urban Cowboy, it's about John Travolta who moves from, you know, to the big city to live with his uncle and work, and he goes to Gillies. And DDP knows what I'm talking about because I loved it. But
Deborah Winger.
Yeah, Deborah Winger and John Travolta, they play in it, and they go into this bar and they meet and they fall in love real fast and they get married, and then she tells a lie because they're riding the bull, the mechanical bulls. And
she's trying to impress him.
Yeah, she's trying to impress him. They split up right away, and then they both get with somebody else. And there's a part in the movie. There's a couple parts in the movie that's so much like John and I. There's a part where him and her are arguing, and then she pinches him. He kind of smacks her in the face, and then he tackles her. He's like, "Get in the truck." She's like, "No." He's like, "Get in the truck." She's like, "No," which we've done this exact real scene before. Get in the truck. And she's walking down the road. This girl can walk fast too. But I'm like, "Come on, baby. I swear, get in." But she's walking. He's like, "Get in the truck." And then they like fall in a mud puddle, and then they look at each other, and he's like, "You won't get married."
You won't get married.
And then when they split up, he sees her in town, which we relived this part of the movie too. And
not on purpose.
Not on purpose, but he sees her and they're like split up, and he honks and she gives him the finger and he gives her the finger. And
he was all, hey.
And,
like,
and
really?
John and I pulled up before and did the same thing. So when we were apart, I used to text her when we wasn't yelling at each other, and I'd say, "I love you, sissy," and she's like, "I love you too, bud." And you know, we kind of lived it, because what happened is, as crazy as it is, we're not saying go to Mickey Gilly's bar and get drunk and ride a bull and split up and give each other the finger. But what happened in this love story was they both met, they put the cart before the horse, they got married, they loved each other, they knew there was something special, which we did. And then as soon as they had problems, there's a part where he takes a girl and she gets in the truck and she goes, "Are you doing this because you like me, or you want to make your wife jealous?" He's like, "Make my wife jealous." And then she goes with another guy, like, "You're a real cowboy." But at the end, after the fight, go watch the movie. It's a really great movie. I love it. I'll go home and watch it right now. Plus, he's got a cool Ford truck and an 04. But and my kids watch it. It's crazy. Jackson looked like Urban Cowboy this morning when he went to school with them new cowboy boots on.
Jackson.
But at the end, after the fight, and they're walking, they're like, "Hey, bud, come in for a drink." He's like, "We're going home, man." You know, and then the story, John and I's love story, was kind of like Urban Cowboy. She was my sissy. I was her bud. It wasn't textbook.
Strong-willed.
Yeah, strong-willed and going, but we knew we loved each other. And I hope Bud and Sissy got saved and they served Jesus and they rode the bull in Jesus land, if they did.
Heck.
But what I'm saying is, if you're out there in your marriage right now on a serious note and you don't know how you can come back from infidelity, you don't know how you can come back, you feel like, you know, the storm only lasts for so long, then the rain stops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 41 will come. You know what I mean? It rained 40 days and 40 nights, and 41st day came. And Pastor Chuck Tate, shout out on your book, Lot 41. It's always kind of been a thing in my thing, but 41 will come. And 41 came in our marriage. And our marriage is getting better. Our marriage is not perfect. We still have disagreements. We still have things that we have to work through and revisit. But a marriage just doesn't keep getting better. Like, you have to work at it to keep getting better, and you have to make it priority.
It's daily.
So if you're out there and you don't think it can, you're looking at two misfit people that people counted out. People sat back and wait, probably still sitting back and waiting. And we came through stuff, and I said it in a podcast before. I don't know. I remember thinking, I don't know how we're going to come back from this. I don't know if I can ever look at her the same. I'm embarrassed as a dude. You know what I mean? I can't believe this, and vice versa. You know, she felt.
But one thing I have to say is that, David, and I give you props on this, is that you called around and found us a counselor. You took initiative. You really wanted that. You wanted this to be different, you know? And I saw that, and I was like, all right, man, if he's willing to put this work in, I'm down, you know? Yeah. And that was very different from anything I'd ever experienced.
Yeah. And we put in some hard work, counseling, yelling, crying, having to re-forgive, having to re-forgive, deal with it, be empathetic. Sometimes say, you know, I remember there's times I'd be like, why do I got to say this? You did the same thing. Why am I apologizing about this? But, you know, it was one being the hammer, one being the nail, one being the nail, one being the hammer. And we worked it out. So you can do it. If Relentless Hope can do it, anybody can do it. It's not because we're special. It's because God can change the situation. Now, if you don't want to put in the hard work and you think it's just going to magically appear, I remember praying, God, please put back the same amount of love and more. Please, I want to fall back in love with her. Because some of it was like, you kind of lose the emotion and the intimacy.
What's that saying that Jimmy Evans says? If you think the grass is greener on the other side,
you just can't see the poop.
You better start watering yours.
Yeah, if you think the grass is greener on the side, you just can't see the poop. That's the one I like. And so you can do it. Thank you for all the people that are contacting us and sending emails. You know, we love you guys. And if you can get anything from these two misfits, that's what we do. Right, baby?
That's it.
Any final words as we're signing off?
No. And if you guys are struggling in your marriage, Jimmy and Karen Evans.
Marriage
Today. It is fantastic.
It works.
You guys should check it out.
And when I say it works, I've listened to the same messages 10 times.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes in a row to try to.
Even just watching one together, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That.
Just showing that, hey, you're willing to put in the work.
There's books, Marriage on the Rock, The 4 Laws, the I Will devotion. They got so much stuff on there if you get on there. But you think we're spokespeople, but we are. You know, because it worked in our life, and that's a big anchor in us. And shout out to Pastor Gasper and Michelle and my parents too. You know, they believed in us, and everybody who didn't give up on us. You know, so we love y'all. We're gonna sign off. Remember, clean calls, Neven Eyewear, Nautical Bowls, and Flyfit tees, all in the link below. Also, Bob back there is rocking that Y Bob and them Nevens, that Relentless Hope hat. A link below to get your merch, you know, so we'll get it sent out to you. We're signing off, Relentless Hope Podcast. Peace.